Hi, so I wanted to talk about the top 3 reasons why I would run away from Dubai. I would not consider or not do a Dubai. There's a lot of stuff floating on the internet about Dubai, a lot of misinformation, incomplete research, and all of that kind of stuff. So the misinformation aside, in this video I'm going to focus on the top 3 reasons why one would absolutely run away, and this would not make sense in a certain situation. So before we get started, this is not immigration, legal, or tax advice. This is my personal opinion. And if you're new, my name is Jay Suresh, and here we discuss investments that lead to residencies and citizenships. So if you haven't subscribed, take a moment and subscribe to my channel so you're always up to date on all the latest and greatest regarding any of the programs. All right, so let's talk about the top 3 reasons. One of the biggest reasons that I am not a big fan of this option is because you never get citizenship. You're always temporary. You don't even have a permanent residency. You don't have a citizenship. If you're moving your business to this country, let's say you're parking some capital or running your operations, you don't want to be in a vulnerable land where you're always temporary. Now, this is one of the biggest issues faced by a lot of successful, wealthy Southeast Asians who have moved from their countries into Dubai, established residencies. Now, as long as everything is good and rosy, it's all good to go. But accidentally, if you hit roadblocks, if there's some issue, then you have set up your life in a country where you don't have any protection, right, in terms of a permanency or in terms of any citizenship. So even in future, let's say you spend 10 years, 20 years doing what you're doing in this country, you aren't ever looking at getting a citizenship. Or if you get it, then you're looking at a lot of years, let's say 10 years, 20 years or more in some circumstances. So that's one of the biggest reasons yes, if everything is good, you're setting this up, it's all fine. But if you hit challenges, then the access to your country should not be blocked. No one should be in a situation where they can't even go and access their own funds, access their own business or whatever they have set up in this country. So that's the number one. The number 2 reason is that it's far away from a lot of places. So let's say you're from Asia, then yes, it makes sense because it's a couple of hours. But let's say you're from North America or any other country, it takes time to get there. So if you're legitimately residing, if you're actually genuinely establishing ties, and you also have attachment to your home country, then you're looking at long flights to get to this option. So the third and the biggest one is it's on the watch list, or rather I should say the FATF gray list. So you're trying to do this financial setup. Maybe you've heard some dodgy advice over the internet. You do all of this, but your home country is watching all of this, right? So something that a third country allows you to do freely doesn't mean that it's right in your home country. So there's a lot of assessment that you have to do. Incorrect, insufficient information, listening to it and taking impulsive decisions can haunt you in the long term. You don't want to face trouble in your home country just because you followed laws of a country that came up with these attractive schemes. So you have to be mindful of that as well. So let's say you set up a zero tax. It's not even, the policies itself there keep changing. So from a zero tax, now it's 9% tax. Then you have a certain zone where it's still zero tax. Then the zones keep changing. So you have all of that to deal with. Now, all of that is fine, but this whole setup should also be compliant with your other residencies or your home country or your main citizenship. So you have to keep all of that in mind. Because if you set up something sketchy, and guess what, you're on the watch list, or rather I should say you're in the country which is on the FATF gray list, you have all eyes on you. So you don't want to do something which is pretty obvious that you shouldn't be doing. Let's say that's all correct in the place that you're going to, but your home country might see it in a different lens. So you have to be extremely careful when you're dealing with obviously a third country which is allowing such schemes, and in addition to that, also the gray listing, right? So it means something, it's there for a reason. So you have to understand what are the ramifications of setting that up. Now, having said Dubai is a great country, it has wonderful policies. I think it's a most favorable place for decades for a lot of South Asians. They have established successful lives in Dubai. It's a very flexible country, so nothing against any of the policies or the country in general. It's beautiful, it's amazing. But if your home country is strict, then you have to take everything in perspective. You just can't take one thing in isolation, go run for it, and land yourself in trouble. Now, what are the alternatives, right? So what are some of the countries that are equally good, which are not on the watch list? They're low profile, they're low key. If you are really interested in just the Gulf, then my favorite picks are Qatar. It's a beautiful, rich, luxurious country. So that's the main point about Qatar. Obviously, zero tax. So it gives you all of the benefits that Dubai would give you, except the watch list. The other great option is Oman. Really amazing in terms of getting a residency, a zero tax residency, very low investment amount in your own property. So you're really investing in your own place for residency, which can be indefinitely renewed as long as you're maintaining your property in that country. So if you're looking for an alternative, a low-key, high-value countries are Qatar and Oman, my absolute favorites. Now, if you are looking to get started with any of your residencies or want to set up your structure correctly, click the link in the description, book a call with us. We can discuss what you're looking for and set you up with the right combination. And if you liked this video, give me a thumbs up and see you in the next one.